Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
I am Commander Things.
I am. You can call me Master Stewart Dictator, or MSD for short. Well, dictator kind of has a bad connotation. Anyway, yeah, we're talking about MSDs today.
Well, sort of. We're talking about very, very detailed displays that if you freeze, you can catch and find the in-focus frame because they like to move the camera. And in fact, there's a couple of different things this episode. And as soon as I saw them, I was like, yes! Yes! You know, give in to the detail. Let it flow through you, is what I was thinking to Prodigy. And we've got some great stuff here. And it gives a lot away. I mean, it gives a lot of sense of a lot of stuff here. And as we are not being told a lot about the ship and the crew and whatever, let's see what we can find in this stuff. Here's the two main ones. And one was at battle. One was sort of static. Different displays, so I thought they were worth talking about differently. I was trying to work out a deck layout. I'm pretty sure you can see the deck layout in the top one. But what's your first sort of gut reaction here? Because they're really detailed.
You know me, I love seeing this kind of stuff. When I saw them on screen, I was like, oh, that's fodder for top discussion right there. So I was super excited. And I just love MSDs and any kind of computer displays from Trek. So super happy. And then you say battle, but it's just being hit by rocks, essentially. Yeah, and you see like where the impacts are, like that back spine and stuff. I thought that was great, actually. An MSD that's interactive with the damage that's going on. That's fantastic.
Well, it's very Star Trek 3, Star Trek 2 and 3.
Yeah, like a tactical display.
And there is a deck layout. You can see a deck line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 decks. With the top one being extra big for the bridge and the bottom being extra big for the shuttle bay. 8 decks.
And it even shows the mysterious drive.
It does. And it shows that it's very similar in tech to the top one, but less big and different things. So it's not identical. It's an extension drive. So the thing's hanging in the shuttle bay, you can see, but we assumed it was part of the drive, but it doesn't look like it is. But in the bottom view, the drive clearly goes way forward. Way more forward. Unless that's the warp core, maybe?
Well, it's just showing different things, in my opinion. Like the one, obviously, you got all the internal mechanisms for that transporting or that transforming thing that will come out at some point. The other one, you can't see all the details. You can back in engineering, but they're different details.
I guess there's only so much room in the hull, so they both can't be central. Like they just seem mutually exclusive details, which is possibly fine. It's just interesting.
It's also interesting, too, when you were talking about the drive coming out, and we know how it kind of transforms. We see it in the intro. But we also have that vehicle replicator down there, which, when it's a transforming ship, is it replicating parts to do that transformation? Or is it all mechanically based, like, transformer-y thing?
I feel like you need it too instantly to make anything on the fly.
So much detail in the nacelles, and you can see the warp coils at the back there.
I am wondering what is the warp core, because I feel like you should at least get a sense of spec. I mean, we saw the warp cores in the main episode. It's 2 decks tall. So I'm guessing it is that big middle thing. You're just seeing the drive system and the warp cores are either side of it, I guess. Somewhere in that section on the bottom display.
Yeah, the warp cores wouldn't be down there, but in the shuttle bay. I think they'd be back somewhere where the struts attach. And they're actually looking at the back of the drive when when Zero says that. Because it's a lot smaller. And it's a different room. So my guess is that the engineering is behind it. And so when it transforms, it comes up and goes above engineering to lock into place, probably.
Oh, wow, that's risky. Have an open engineering, have an open warp course. Oof.
Well, I'm not necessarily sure, but I know that the thing that Zero points to is what's that is a lot smaller than the one that's in the main shuttle bay, which...
Yeah, it's too small to be the outside Bassard thing. But it's just the... But
that would be my guess where it is.
So little space, relatively speaking. You would think you'd see a warp core on one of these displays. If you can see the engines, you'd think you'd see a warp core.
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but...
Not unless you're selecting that subsystem, maybe. Maybe they turned it off. Maybe it's all like different layers that you can turn off and on. But
I'm wondering what are the... everything here is intentional. So on the top view, it looks like there's a Cylon Raider below the bridge. It's such a distinct thing that is...
It's a captain jet.
Yeah, it's a station opposite.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out more about the layout and stuff. The engineering room was quite small, so yeah, I think it's just a matter of it being kind of up there behind that main drive section. like in the middle of the ship there.
I'm thinking that below, because we know there are aft and forward torpedoes, so I'm thinking that thing just above the gradient of the backwards part of the secondary hull, one of the only other things that is like big and white. I'm thinking that's probably the torpedo launcher, the aft torpedo launcher, rather than in the neck. Because I think there's a label, and they would also explain there's a forward launcher, which would just about be
forward one underneath. Yeah,
which would be where you could place it. I mean, there's no space in the deflector / there's not very much space there to have the torpedo launcher as well. But then, Stuart, we say all this deduction. The next view is a very similar display, but they actually have labels. Now, this is a bit of a mic drop because it confirms they have work bees. What?
And I love this. Oh, the first thing I read is shuttlecraft fuel storage. So they don't have shuttlecrafts on board. You have to replicate them. And as we talked about, in another video and on my live first reaction, when you replicate the shuttle, can the replicator make the fuel and stuff as well? And I'm like, no, it probably transports it in as it's constructing the ship. So it's like a full assembly and replication. And shuttlecraft fuel storage right at the back of the ship.
Or at least it transports the containers of fuel. You can literally yeah, there's just a slight clarification. Although this confuses me because that's not what the shuttle bay is. The shuttle bay is at the front because it has a door. So the shuttle bay is not quite... Like, if that was at the back, it's in the... Because we saw in the entire sequence, that back fin splits and the engine comes. There is physically no space there. So I think the labels have been
Maybe
misaligned.
There's a drop bay or something there. Maybe there's one or two shuttles that are always there, just the drop bays.
I just don't know why you put fuel storage in the zone that transforms the fin. Seems quite dangerous. And also, Bassard Collector is in the middle of the hull, which doesn't really equate either. And you would not have... it could be the middle drive unit. It has the Bassard Collector, but that seems nonsensical.
Yeah, you really have to zoom in to see where these things are pointing to, and they just kind of end at the hull. They don't go all the way through up to where I think they're supposed to, so...
Yeah, I don't think this is actually a proper representation because that's not where the shuttle bay is. That's not where the shuttle bay fuel storage is going to be. Work B, yeah. But then, like I said, work B is literally in the drive. And it could be either side of the drive, but why would you put your work Bs either side of experimental drive? No, I guess to fix it from the inside, maybe.
Well, I mean, if it follows Discovery's logic, you can fly the work Bs around in there, you know.
Well, if this thing is literally revolved around the drive, in this one case, I'm not against that. It's just... You're only going to be moving like 50 meters max because the drive's not that big. So it's not it's not that useful. But torpedo launcher, where I said torpedo storage banks makes sense. Environmental subsystems, cool. Holding cell is on the display for some reason.
Well, it's because there's a person in the holding cell at the moment. I think this is showing everywhere that the subsystems
are going offline.
Power from.
Yeah.
Because he said transfer all power, so that's why holding cell's red. That's why workpiece storage is red. Later, it says that the vehicle replicator is active, and it highlights that part of the lower part of the secondary hull there as well. That's highlighted.
It's real weird. You've also got subsystem antenna, which is fine. Bridge is fine. Observation lounge, which is right.
I think the observation lounge is pointing to the front of the bridge, though. That big open. That's kind of the vibe that I get.
I mean, there is the point there, but there's no windows there, so you're not observing anything, are you? At that point, it's just a room. Phaser strip is about right. Conference suite. So you have observation lounge and conference suite.
Nice. And there's other stuff at the bottom that we couldn't see because of the way it was angled. But
I thought, really interesting work bees. Super interesting.
No, the shuttle bay is kind of concerning right behind the pylons there. But maybe we'll see something. I don't know. Where the vehicle replicator is, there is that ramp there. So is that also like a shuttle bay door? Like, it just seems weird, the configuration of that. For vehicle replicator, I would assume that's for making the land vehicles. That's why you have a ramp. You land your ship, create your vehicle, drive it off. But yeah, the ship's really small, so I can't see a shuttle bay being anywhere else but there, really. So.
And then if there is, you're saying, well, why does it need to have two full shuttle bays? In a ship this small, dedicated to a drive system, shuttle bays are very specific in their use, and they're not like every use for every ship. You don't need them for every day. That's what you have transporters for. Which, I mean, of course there's transporter rooms, but where's the transporter rooms? Where's the other stuff? And yeah, the bay they do walk in is the thing that creates it. You can see the arm, so that is the same bay, and so that is the shuttle bay. Might be two shuttle bays, but that doesn't feel about right.
Yeah, so I mean, some really cool stuff here, guys. Loving the MSDs. Keep giving us more every episode. Let's drop little hints of what's where and how the ship works, please.
All of the details. Give them to us. Yes. But it's interesting, you know, none of these ships have had the same level of, ooh, it's an experiment, ooh, it's random, ooh, it's weird. Because it's such a weird-looking ship for what an average like production model ship would be. And so it's like, yes, give us all the unusual things. I mean, you know, waiting to see what it's for. And it's good to kind of keep the mystery.
The fact that it's an NX, too, and we know it does a transformable thing, and what's the drive, what's that drive? Like, there's still a lot of questions.
All of the questions, sure.
We are super excited to learn about those, so, yes. Let us know in the comment section what you thought about these MSDs. If you have the opportunity to freeze frame it or something and zoom in, please do so. There's a lot of details in there. We try to cover them all for you guys so you don't have to. But, yeah, let us know what you thought about our conversation. Put your comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell icon, and join us for the lives where we do this kind of thing. Because you guys sometimes notice stuff that we don't, and then we can have an open discussion about that in real time. So those are the best things.
And of course, if you want to support us directly with what we do, with all these little breakdowns, then of course, PayPal, Patreon, join the channel, and I guess, yeah, shirts. Shirts are cool, like what's just wearing right now. Lots of shirts down below. Any and all help, if you can. If you can't, just join in for the next episode, but do appreciate any direct support. It does make all the difference.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm still a master steward. Can't think of a good other. I'm just Captain Foley. Just go with that.
And I'm just plain, simple Samuel. Did you get what I did there?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I did.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.